Hey guys, I'm going to do another Tour 10 video here. Here you can see my bag setup. Very similar bag to before. This morning I got a Nirvana card, which pushed me up exactly to Tour 4. It was a pretty nice upgrade. I don't know if you've seen the stats on it, but it gave me an extra 11 yards and it gave me some extra top spin. So all in all, that's going to be definitely something favorable. Getting that'll help me get out of mistakes a little bit better. So let's see if I can't start up a couple matches here. Here's Rob, 3,000 trophies. Oh, I love this hole. Not. So what I really like to do on winds like this is pop this up to the other fairway. With Apocalypse, I can do it. With my other account, I can do it on the flight. I'm not sure if I can get it on the flight here. So I'm going to still spin it pretty decent. I'm just going to spin it away from the bunker up there. See if I can't figure this out. And sure enough, right off the rough, top spin forward. It almost hit the fairway. Now, had that actually hit the fairway and not the collar there, that might not have been the greatest shot in the world. So keep that in mind if you're going to try to pull off something similar. And of course, this guy's just going to be able to beat the crap out of the ball. But this is what I'm saying. You want to be very careful when you try to beat the crap out of the ball here. If this guy actually went for my shot, it looks like he's not going to. But if he actually did go for that shot, you have to stop it before it gets behind those second set of trees way up there. Or at the very least, you got to spin it way left or something. And as you see, both of us, solid shots. He didn't use a power ball like I did. As you can see, the end of that fairway is probably more or less, 7 rings. But this is an uphill shot. You got to watch how much you curl this. So you don't want to send it into the trees over there. I'm just putting a little baby curl. And as you see, plenty of room to work with there. It's coming in a little hot. Probably didn't need all that curl. I mean, not curl, top spin. I probably could have got away with a little bit under 1 ring there, since the wind was pushing it extra. But you're seeing I'm bouncing it well short to be safe there. This guy's going to take a bit different approach. He's going to go the full power route with backspin. Also a pretty good shot option. Oh, well, not when you don't pull it off, it isn't. So usually I actually kind of like that shot, because even if he did hit the rough, it usually trickles out and you just have an easy pitch. So, that's not the worst shot in the world. The guy just kind of got a little unlucky, if you ask me. Because usually that hole, I can't believe he didn't have enough power on it where it didn't quite feed through. And sometimes as soon as he gets to the very front edge of that green, it just rolls halfway to the hole anyway. So all you have to do is get it started to the very front of that green. That's it. As you see, hitting a great ball out of the rough. Usually takes it offline. No real chance of pulling that sucker out. You're gonna see me. I'm gonna keep opening these suckers up a little bit, forcing the issue. I'm gonna open this one. I like to get rid of the worst chests I can. Just get that out, and I'll just start to unlock this one. I really need to accelerate getting some clubs, upgrading a little bit quicker. I'd really like to get a couple more Thor's cards, get that up to the next level. So I'm hoping that they set up a tournament here pretty soon, and that's going to be for next week. So that way, hopefully I can get in Pro Division, because next week I'll be in Pro Division. Right now I'm in Rookie 3, so can't play Pro yet. But if there's a tournament there next week, I will be able to. So I'm really hoping that they put up a tournament next week. Call it a Thanksgiving tournament. Next week is going to be Thanksgiving, so I'm really hoping that they decide to put out some kind of turkey ball or something. That'd be pretty cool. So this is kind of a tricky wind here. Not a huge fan. You want to be really cautious. You know, I'm never super worried about being the longest guy out there. So you're seeing I'm putting maybe a 1.5 top spin, and you see that's where 5 rings is. And I'm going to go at least, you know, probably 7 rings behind the trees at least, plus full power, plus, you know, as much curl as I can do. And let's see if I can't just pull this shot off here. Just enough. So technically probably needed just a touch more, but with the Titan that I have on here, I should be good to go. I think most wins I'll be able to get there. Of course, they give me the worst possible as they could. It's going to make things a little bit more challenging for me. Not saying I can't do it. We'll see. I'm going to show you my best approach to pulling this off. But this is going to be, so I wouldn't be worried if I had sniper on right now. This guy really doesn't have to be too worried either. But I don't think he's going to hit the best shot in the world. Since the wind's going away from the hole, he can't really curl this. Just going perfect ball through the trees. But you're seeing it should get to the green, but he's not going to have the best shot on the green. I'm thinking, well, that's actually way better than I thought it was going to be. So, I thought with the way that the wind was pushing it, you know, it was probably going to push it towards the right side. He was really able to pull that off. It's going to be a little brutal for me. I might not be able to get there. And I'm going to show to pull off my best go. But there's also going to be some guesswork involved, because I really don't know. So first off, you're going to see me put the right of my bullseye kind of right where the wind would be safe if the wind pushed it that 9.5 down. So you're seeing this is the very point at where that had happened, and then I'm going to go at least another bullseye and probably add just a little bit on top, just to be safe. And then I'm going to do max hook. And I did miss the bunker, so that's good. And look how close I was to getting it to the green. Just a centimeter short. Now, I don't think I'm up against it to where I can't make that pitch. So it should just be, tiebreaker situation anyway. I pulled that shot off as best as I could, and it just sucks that, we're talking about 2 yards here. I would have funneled that right towards the hole. Would have had an easy putt. So ideally, the way to do this is, top spin. This is the way that I like to pull this shot off. Got to figure out how much this wind's going to play. So you kind of see it popping up kind of quick there. You see I'm not leaving the hole there. I'm going to put it right on the very tip there. And see if that's good. And as you're seeing, rolls right in. Didn't leave the cup at any point. Let's see what we can do on this tiebreaker here. I'm going to get to watch his shot, see how good he puts it. This is kind of perfect. He has Goliath. This is kind of, what you hope for. Because your opponent has Goliath on this one. It's basically the least accurate iron that he could ever have. Now he does have a Goliath 8. So that's the most accurate that he'll ever have it. Is at a Goliath 8, but it's still not a very accurate club, even max. So if my opponent, for instance, hits a great ball, it's guaranteed to be at least a 2-yard pull. So it can be the difference between winning and losing. But also it's on top of, how good is his wind play, stuff like that. He did hit perfect. It looks like, he might have, let's see, he still underplayed it just a touch. It is just barely rolling down the hill. That's can't knock it inside 3 yards. I feel pretty confident here that I can. So first off, I'm on the very south end of Saturn here. I usually play at about 2 something per ring. As you see, I use right about 4 rings of backspin here. Like I was saying, I probably go about somewhere in the neighborhood of 4 rings here. So perfect ball. Pop the bunker. Hopefully have enough backspin. And I do. So I was able to stop mine. His ball came in a little bit more hot, so I was able to be fortunate and top his shot, even though I barely underplayed that wind. Still good enough. Anything inside 2 there can be a pretty good shot, especially on so if you can get it kind of in that groove there where you're about 2 yards or less. On most situations, especially when the wind's tricky, like it was there, it's a pretty decent shot. It's a pretty decent shot. If the wind was much slower, which sometimes it does happen, 4 or 5 miles per hour, you want to get in there pretty tight. I'd be worried about losing if I was going first and hit that same shot and the wind wasn't very strong. I'd be really worried. Now, you never really worry about when you're playing a Goliath, because your opponent, he at least has a 2-yard per ring club, so he has to hit a pretty solid shot. He has to make sure it's perfect ball, just in order to get it within that 2-yard window that he has. So that's one of the reasons that that can be so you know, important for this hole. And you see I'm cheating this as far right as I can. I don't want to make the same mistake that guy did. And you even saw me shank it right. So I know when I curl like that, you're allowed to shank right. It's just kind of, I wouldn't call it a glitch, but it's like kind of like a wind trick. That if you shank something right and the wind's right, well, it doesn't really shank. It just kind of, the wind kind of holds it. It's kind of one way to look at it. So as you're seeing, you know, my ball was pretty perfect. So just a little trick that you guys might want to take note of. You know, that only works because the wind was kind of pushing to the left there, and I was kind of shanking it against the wind. So it's like resisting pulling because the wind's kind of pulling it back left, even though I shanked it right. It's just kind of like a little trick there. So you'll see me intentionally kind of, you know, I was going for like a great ball on the right, but I was definitely trying to release early, foremost. That was kind of the most important thing. So here I should be plenty close enough. So this guy's probably thinking, oh, well, I got this guy, at least he's got a, you know, at least he's got a tough go here. But I'm assuming after last hole that this is going to be much closer to being able to execute this than last time I did it. And again, it's about 2 full bullseyes I'm doing, but you're seeing this time full topspin gets to the green. It's actually coming down towards the hole. It's a pretty good shot. So it's still possible to, you know, trickle this down this hole. The way that I kind of recommend doing it is maybe not quite as much backspin as he's doing, and just, you know, feeding it off that slope. I feel like the way that he's doing it, he's going to maybe stop the ball because it's not going to be coming in fast enough. So what I would do is maybe like 2 or 3 bars of backspin. Here's the problem with his shot. I feel like it might come down to the hole and stop short. And you're seeing he didn't hit it hard enough, but did you see how it just had so slow momentum and it wasn't feeding down the hole? That's one of the reasons that, you know, I would suggest not hitting it quite like that, to where it's slowly going down the hill, because you don't want to have that on line and then stop 2 inches short. Like, that would be the worst. I'd be so mad if I did that. So again, you're going to see me keep bulk opening these as long as I remember to. See if I can't do some more holes for you guys. Man, they are really testing my patience with these videos that we're getting. What's this? So what's nice is what is this? The 4th straight par 5 that we've got, and I'm 3 for 3 in eagles so far. I'm probably just 100% jinxed myself on this one, but you know, it's just really nice to be actually able to get these holes, even with my opponent, you know, having me outdrived and all this other stuff. Just definitely a nice little, and you're seeing I'm going probably at least 7 or so rings for a 10. That great ball might not help me. I'm a little worried it's going to start leaning too much right now, but it looks good. Okay, this hole is going to be a little bit more of a grind. I got to hope for a downwind here because I only have a Guardian. With a sniper, I could just kind of you know, beat the crap out of the ball. Oh, of course, the Poc 4, and Of course he gets downwind. Why wouldn't he? They just slammed me with the hardest wind in the face and just give him a cakewalk with a driver that already has 10 yards on mine. Plus extra topspin. So this guy's going to have me outdrove by about 40 yards. Thanks, Golf Clash. Wow, what was that guy thinking? So one of the things that you always want to do, you always want to spin it right as possible. And even, now look at this. They gave me a gift of a wind. I'm hoping I have just enough to get there without wind. But I still, to be honest with you, I still might not. So let's just kind of hope for some luck here. Perfect ball. And you see I can get a lot more aggressive with the way I curl it. Get over that rough. It's over. I'm there. That was kind of a gift win for me. Hang on, hang on. You want it to stop as much as possible. If it gets back to that fringe, the putt gets kind of hard. Where I'm at shouldn't be too bad. One of the things that I'm mentioning, though, about that guy's drive is you don't want to ever spin it or have your momentum going away from the right on this. You want to always, be getting right momentum and getting it as right as possible under all circumstances. Now, it is possible to go too far right, but so you don't want to, do full max everything, but perfect ball, should be good here. And as you see, I'm rolling in on the left edge of the cup. I like to naturally release a little bit too early on my putts. That's my typical 99% miss when, well, first I don't miss a lot of putts, but when I do miss putts, my typical is 90% of the time I'll release too early, which is on the right side. So what I'll do is I'll cheat it there towards the left of the cup, just in case I release early, and hopefully it still catches that right edge and goes in for me. So I'm 4 for 4 on these holes, which is nice, a nice bonus. As you can see, I don't even remember what my opponents are, but I think I've played one shootout, which is, it's just insane. I'm so outmatched on these clubs. I'm just letting my opponent make mistakes. So I highly recommend is taking notes of this video. This is kind of a very good demonstration on, you've seen I've got it obliterated with these wins. I'm not getting favorable wins. I'm just doing what I can. The best that I can is barely getting there. Of course, there's a little bit of luck thrown in there. They just gave me a pass to the hole there, which I usually don't get on that very last one. I was assuming that I was going to have to pitch it in, which I was comfortable doing as well. I would have found a way to, at least give it a chance to pitch it in. But it's just nice that, being up against the ropes here, I was still able to find a way to get all 4 of those eagles. So I'm 4 for 4 on the eagles, and here's another par 5 for us. So this is one of the reasons that I'm using Thor 2. It's kind of what I was mentioning to you guys earlier, was you don't need a ton of length here. Now this is going to be an exception, but you're going to see me. So first off, the way that I do this is I'm going to put as much right spin on as I can. And again, I just got to beat the crap out of this. This is almost as hard as the wind can be. And you see I'm going to try to basically just reach the fairway, which I'm hoping I do, because if I don't hit this fairway on the first bounce, forget about it. I ain't getting there. I didn't hit perfect. I'm a little worried that I might miss on the left side, and that's what you're seeing. So this is kind of the one downside. I gotta hope that they, screw him with his wind too, because this was a brutal wind. And of course, they give him a free pass. Like, if I had that wind, there's not even a question. Like, I'm easily up in the fairway, no issues. Plus, you know, this guy has me outdrove. He's got me out trophied. He's got way out gamed me. He's got like 6,000 games. That means all his clubs are probably, you know, 7, 8. So it can be frustrating. You come up on holes like this. This is the one that I would have guessed there's no way that, you know, they'd ever screw me enough to where I couldn't, like, I just didn't have the capability here to, and again, straight in the face, unbelievable. So now I'm kind of at a decision, which is, do I try to pop it over or do I not try to pop it over? Because I can end up in the rough here. And I did get it to the fairway, and I just got to go hope that I can hole out from there. Now you see I put the best ball on in the game. I mean, aside from Berserker. So into the wind, you won't see me really use a Berserker. I'd rather use a Kingsmaker. But I'm using the best ball in the game to kind of increase my chances that I can still kind of hold out here for my third shot. Because I'm not out of this thing yet. So you're going to see me, the way that you saw him first doing this, is kind of the way that you're going to see me go for it. I'm going to go for it, trying to use that slope on the right. So his is too deep. It's not going to come back towards the hole. You got to get it more, maybe like a ring or two past, or not a ring or two, but if you're looking at the green grid, like you need to get it like a grid or two past. So you see how it's like he's in the one that's two grids past. You need to be somewhere in between there. So when I'm aiming up here, for example, and you know, Thorn, you don't need a ton of backspin on Thorn. It already comes in kind of slow anyway. You see me do about 4 rings. Should be enough. And like I said, you just kind of want to find that spot that's about like 2 rings past. So it looks like 2 grids past is about there. Oh crap, I forgot to check. See if I'm more towards max club. That sucks. This is actually going to really increase the difficulty of this shot because I'm not sure I can go enough correction. It's about 5 rings from here. Let's see if I can't get this going towards the hole somewhere. I'm even adding a little bit extra on top. And you see, it's just coming back. I'm a little bit past, but you're seeing I'm off by like 1 grid. So you're seeing that, you know, had that just been a little bit more to the right, and you see it came back past the hole. So that's good. And sometimes, you know, I'll forfeit on opponents like this just because I know for a fact, you know, they have me completely out clubbed, all that good stuff. So it's like forfeiting out. It'll at least take him out of my match for a while. I won't be able to rematch him for a while. So that's favorable on opponents that have you out clubbed. I never do it because I think that they have me out skilled, because I think, like, for the most part, you know, we're only talking about 1 hole. You can always hit that 1 shot. It's more about if just, like, let's just say, you know, I keep refreshing here and, you know, that guy keeps looking for games and I get him 5 times in a row. Well, playing him 5 times is going to be unfavorable for me because he's always going to have me by 20, 30 yards off the tee every time. So if we have all par 5s, like, I mean, you just see me play 5 in a row. I just had 4 eagles in a row and then 1 not eagle. That's the first time that I missed my eagle. And, you know, I still had a chance. I gave it a go. It was probably that little bit of extra power that I was giving it that you know, just sent it too far. But I knew I was going to need a little something, but it looks like I just ended up going a little too much there. So on this, I know you've seen before, and you know, I'll always lay up short too. And I'll usually go about 5 rings or so. And you see about 5 rings on a 7. It's because it's downhill and all that. So that's why you'll see me go 5 rings on a 7. Because normally it doesn't make any sense. Like, oh crap, I did not mean to miss that right. I'm assuming that I'll be okay, because I really, you know, I was being very preventive with my shot there. So you see, that's one of the reasons that you'll see me do that, to where I'm, you know, full curl left, full side spin left, all that good stuff. So you're seeing me do all that on top of the shot, just in the instance that you see me pull it right like that. So it doesn't push it into the trees. It's just being super cautious. And yeah, so this is the guy, this is the type of guy that I might completely just forfeit out if he ends up, you know, having me and beating me, and there's essentially nothing I can do. Because first off, he's using mummy balls. This is probably the best ball in the game, in my opinion. All around ball. So it has the same, other than dead ball. Okay. So it has the same power as my Kingmaker and Titan, but wind resistance is 4. So he has half the wind resistance as I do. Mine's like 25%. His is 45%. So I'm playing 6.7. He's going to be playing 4. Like, unbelievable disadvantage on this guy. So what I like to do here is more of a stop shot. I might take off just a couple rings since it's so into the wind. I'm not going to need full backspin here. You're going to see me do it with side spin too. So you're going to see me do it more like here. And then I'll do probably, you know, 6 rings on top of that. So I'll aim in here, add just a touch more power on top. Perfect ball. Ah, just coming in too much. And you're seeing the way that that's cutting back towards the hole. If I would have just had a little bit less power, I would have came back right on that sucker. I had a chance at making that. It was just coming in a little bit deep. But see, this is what I was talking about. He only has to play a 4 miles per hour wind. So this is the kind of guy that I would love to just forfeit out of and never have to play again. Because he has an Apoc 4, which is just way better than Thor 2. Like, if I could show you the stats, it's like, it's not even close. Like, I can end game with, I think, Apoc 2. I can get to max trophies with just Apocalypse 2 because there's so much curl. It's so helpful to have that curl for Tour 11. It's so critical in Tour 11. And not so much in Tour 10. So that's one of the biggest reasons that since I'm in Tour 10, like, I'm not too worried about it. But the fact that this guy's using mummies, whew, that makes playing them extremely hard. And again, another par 5. So this is just crazy. I'm going to label this special as just like a par 5 exclusive here. Because it's all we're getting. Probably the second. Wow. I cannot believe how something just seems real glitchy with the timing. I wonder if this guy's disconnecting on purpose. I notice it keeps happening. Isn't this towards Max Club? Yeah, so I'm right towards Max Club. There's 4 backspin. I'm going to do a little bit on top of that with a 9. Do about 6 rings here. Ah, great ball. So I pulled it right. Not too happy about that. Hopefully I can... Nah, it's terrible. Let me see what wind they give him. I might just quit out on this guy. 5 yards is almost no way unless he gets a side wind. He's going to put it there. I might just watch his setup. Yeah, it's a side wind. So he could technically... But I'm just going to watch his setup. And again, he has Cat 4. It's just ridiculous clubs. He's good. No matter what, that's going to be within 5 yards. So, just going to go ahead and forfeit so I never have to play that guy again. Just kind of a good strategy. You know, he's got Cat 4, he's got a Pock 4. It's just not even a close matchup. So, just, you know, take your losses. And just kind of know what you're up against. Under normal circumstances, I'd like to not do that. And, you know, I don't care if I'm playing up against that guy. But his clubs are just, you know, if we keep playing par 5s, he's going to, on the times that I don't get my eagle, he's going to be getting his eagle every time. He's never not going to get his eagle. Playing with the way that, if he's playing mummy balls, if he's playing, you know, all this stuff, he's never not going to get his eagle. So it just makes my life so much more difficult that I can match him. And when I forfeit out like that, I don't have to worry about him popping up right now. He's not gonna show up. And as you're seeing, I'm not sure anybody's going to pop up. Oh, jeez. Why do they keep giving me guys that are like 4,000 trophies every time? It's getting exhausting. First time they give me a par 4. Still going to label this video with like extreme amount of par 5s. It's crazy. I might actually... Oh, no. This is not the whole... Thank God. Thank God they gave this guy wind in the face. So this levels the playing field for me, which is perfect. I mean, this is ideal for me. This is what I want to see. I want to see my opponent have to hold out from the fairway. And, you know, I assume that I can make it from the fairway anyway, but it's just so much. It's so deflating when your opponent here is putting or he's on the fringe pitching, and you're... Like, I'm not even going to be to where his drive is. Like, that's considered a long drive for me. I'm basically 100-some yards, 100, 110 yards out, and then your opponent's on the green. So, to maximize my yards, I'm going to put Kingsmaker on, so that way I can go full with this. So, as you're seeing, the wind's 9.5, right? And you see right around the 4 rings, like if you look back 4 rings towards the clear, that's where the fairway is. And I know that a 9.5 in the face is going to go way more than 4, and it's going to go even more than 5. So you're completely safe here to just go full everything. No exceptions. The minimum, I would say, would be about 6 rings. And you're seeing that I at least had... for sure a ring there of safety. Like I wasn't even close to the end of the fairway. So keeping that that's a valuable thing to know and be aware of, because it lets you maximize the distance that you could hit it. So you just saw me hit it as far as possible, whereas if you didn't know that fact and you took off some to be a little on the cautious side, where you're costing yourself another 10, 20 yards off the tee, whereas the closer you get, the more likely you are to hold it out. You see this guy's, I mean, he's on Goliath. I might be on Claw. It looks like he might have got it. So he got it anyway. So that's a good shot. I got to see if I can do the same thing. which I'm assuming, you know, as long as I didn't hit it in between clubs here, I'm going to have a good chance to make this regardless. There's max club, so I'm a little bit shorter than max. So, you know, and my wind's pretty straight too, so, you know, I expect to be able to, you know, at least give this a good go. But as you can see, it seems a little funky towards the front of this green here. It might be because of the surface change. About 4 rings here, more or less. Oh, geez, it was so glitchy. I hate when it does this. Now it's definitely going to be left. That really frustrates me. And this is why I've restarted the app. You saw me do this mid-video. You see how glitchy my software is right now. I'm just going to go ahead and end this video. I feel like there's a lot of content on here because I really don't want that problem to happen again, to where, you know, my phone's just so glitchy. So I'm going to go ahead and restart this video, restart my phone. I'm going to probably keep playing. I don't know if I'm going to keep recording. Probably not. I have a lot of Tour 10 content for you guys, and this is kind of very supplemental. Not a lot of tiebreaker holes in this one, but there's a lot of solid content. So probably just go ahead and restart my phone, you know, try to keep getting some matches in here and just grinding this tour a little bit, because, you know, the only reason I might have missed that is because I shanked it great ball left, and you could see that it was kind of running maybe about 2 yards left of the cup, which is about the exact amount that 1 bar left would be. So I might have hit that pin and had it go in with a perfect ball. And the way that it was so glitchy there just kind of drives me crazy. So the advice that I give you, for if your phone's doing that, or tablet or whatever, just restart the device, go back into the golf clap shop. Sometimes I even take a break from my phone, just because, you know, first off, it feels like super hot. I don't know why, but it just seems like, I don't even have it plugged in or anything, but it just seems like my phone is just running ridiculously hot right now. So, you know, I'm just gonna shut it down and then just come back in, play some more. But anyway, good luck with your Tour 10 here. As you see, a lot of par 5s in this one, and hopefully, you know, you can figure out how to minimize those mistakes on the, you know, getting your eagles. I think we played six par 5s, and I got 5 eagles. Under normal circumstances, you know, I'd be expecting to get 6 eagles there. So getting those 6 eagles really puts yourself at a favorable position. And a lot of times, you know, ball selection comes into play. You always have to be conscientious. I mean, you saw some of the messed up wins we got. So if you replay this video, there's some jacked wins. And you'll see the more jacked of a win that I get, just means I'm going to put a Kingsmaker on. I really need that wind resistance. I need to get the ball down there as far as possible. And just one time, it gave me the most brutal that it could have given me, and it gave my opponent a side wind. So, and that's the difference between basically making it impossible for me to, like, I barely even crept onto the fairway, and with the way that fairway is, you need to really favor the right side of it, which I didn't have the luxury of doing because I couldn't hit the fairway. So just kind of bad circumstances. Doesn't mean you can't get the eagle. I mean, you even saw me, you know, set up my shot for a possible still holdout. And had I not carried it 1 yard too far, I might have had it. So just something to keep in mind. Feel free to comment, or, you know, let me know what you're thinking about this video, or if you have any other concerns. If you haven't subscribed, feel free to do that as well. And good luck with your Tour 10.